Hello and welcome to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin, and very excited today because today we're doing a little something different today. Normally it's just straight interview, but today I have a special guest from the PWA. She's a ring announcer for PWA. Going to talk to her for a little bit, and then we're going to preview the huge PWA shows that are upcoming February 22nd and 23rd in Guelph and Kitchener. Very happy to welcome to the show the PWA ring announcer Michelle Leith. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, it's very excited to have you. I don't know if you remember me or not, but I was at the last two shows. I know there was Homicide and Carlito, but when Homicide was there, I don't know if you remember, you took a picture of two people that came into the ring to get pictures with Homicide. I was actually the second person, so you actually took a picture of me and Homicide. So great picture. So thank you very much for the picture.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad. That was a fun show too.
Yeah, no, it was really, really fun show. It was cool meeting Homicide. That's what I like about PWA is that it's, like I walk in and there's Josh Alexander sitting at a table. Yeah, I can just walk over and say hello. So I'm really enjoyed the last, two PWA shows I've been to, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going on the 23rd as well. So I'm looking forward to that show.
Oh, God.
So I just want to, how did you, I know you're the ring announcer for PWA, so how did you get involved with, PWA Canada, and how long have you been, working for them?
Oh, it's about my 7th or 8th year total, but I haven't always been the ring announcer.
Okay.
Very much worked my way up, just like any wrestler would. I'm not a wrestler, but,
okay.
It's being a business, you still have to work your way. So I started out, just helping. I rang the bell. I played the music, I worked the merch table, and then for several years I actually worked the door, and that way I got to know all the fans. Like pretty much the PWA universe, they came through the door and I spoke to them and I spent time with them, chatted with them, and over those couple of years I did the door, getting to know them and also showing interest in starting to be the ring announcer, they got really behind me, which was really helpful, so it really helped me be more comfortable in the ring and then allowed me to shine. So then through that, I became the ring announcer. But not only that, PWA also appointed me to be the PWA commissioner for over a year and a half. And that was a really fun run. We had a good long story with that one. And some of the other gentlemen challenged me for my role. And I've really worked my way right through the ranks. So
right, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Tex Lexus is the commissioner now. Is that correct?
He is the current PWA commissioner. Yes, we had a vote, and he apparently won the vote. I still question the validity of it, but he's the PWA commissioner at the moment. But he's also running the temple, so I mean, he's very divided in his loyalties at the moment. So we'll see where that goes.
Okay, now I wish I was able to take part in that vote. I would have voted for you 100%. I wouldn't have voted. I like Tex Lexus, but I would have voted for you 100% if I was able to participate in that. So do you think you'll ever get that role back from Tex Lexus being the commissioner?
Oh, I certainly hope so. I think PWA Universe isn't entirely happy with the way. I mean, we've had some really great shows lately. I would never fault Tex for his efforts in bringing in some really great talent. But, I did that too when I was the commissioner. And he's definitely got his focus on the temple right now. And I think PWA deserves a commissioner again. So I do definitely hope and look towards that in the future. And I'm not opposed to it at all.
Okay, well, I'll if a vote ever comes up again, you have my vote. Like I said, I'll definitely vote for you. I'm sorry. Hello?
Oh, I thought I lost you. I didn't lose you.
Oh, no, I'm still here. Yeah, just heard a couple clicking. Might have had a little bit of interference, but that's okay. So what is it about ring announcing that you enjoy so much? Because you do a good job. You've hosted a number of meet and greets. Well, I've been to the last two, but you do a good job. So what is it about ring announcing that you enjoy the most?
Well, I just love being in the ring, and everyone finds their place, and in the ring on the microphone is mine, and I'm comfortable there. I enjoy everyone has a role to play. I think the refs play a role, the ring announcers play a role, even right down to the volunteers and the helpers that we have who play the music, and everything sets the tone for the show. And I really enjoy being part of setting up the hype for the match and announcing the names and just getting everyone excited about for the match that's coming, because I'm just as excited to be there as they are. And the more I do it, the more I want to do it, and I just love being in the ring, and that's my little part of helping out, and I want to do it as long as I possibly can.
All right, cool. And now you've hosted a number of meet and greets, as I've mentioned, with the Q&As. Of course, the last two, Carlito and Homicide. Do you have a favorite guest a favorite guest that you had of a Q&A that you've been hosting?
It's a relatively new thing that we've been doing. I've hosted a couple before, but every single one is different, and I'm not trying to evade the question, but every single one is very different. And with Homicide, there was a lot of fan interaction and great questions, and he wanted to talk, and he told me no topic was off limits, that he would even talk about hair and makeup if we wanted. So he had a really great attitude going into that interview, and I was ready to interview him, but the fans, they knew what they wanted to know from him, so I was just kind of there to facilitate it. But it was a lot of fun, and I get a chance to ask questions and guide the session in a different way, and I enjoy it. So that one was long and it was fun. But then Carlito, it's Carlito. That was pretty cool to be in the ring with him, and they're very different, and I couldn't even compare them. But so everyone I've done so far, even the ones I've done in the previous years, it just gets better and better every time. I'm always happier with the one I do again, and I always improve on maybe what I'm doing and think of better questions and better fan interaction, but every time it gets better and better. So I just look forward to all of them. I really wish I could have one with some of the upcoming stars we have on our next couple of shows, but I don't think that's going to fit into the next two. We've got so much going on, but it will again in the future.
Yeah, that's my next question. I noticed online it said there'll be a meet and greet with a Q&A, but will there be one on the 23rd, or there won't be one on the 23rd?
As of right now, there isn't one planned.
Okay.
I mean, we might not throw one in, but we do have the VIP doors still at 6:30, and that's to make sure everyone gets the seats that they want. We have a lot of regulars that like to get their spot in the front row, but it's not planned, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. If somebody's willing and they want to do it, then I'll jump right in, but it's not planned at the moment.
Okay, well, I have my first row VIP seat, so I'm looking forward to that. And I have a suggestion. Why not Kobe Christ? A big fan of Kobe Christ. I would love to ask him a few questions live and in person.
Well, I will be speaking to him on Friday on the show itself, so I will run it by him and run it by everybody involved and see what we can put together.
Yeah, well, when you see Kobe, tell him I said hello. Tell him he'll know me. Just tell him Lewis Carlin says hello.
I will do.
All right. So I also noticed sometimes, like the last two shows I was at, you don't, when like you're asking for questions, you don't always get a question right away, and you're walking around the ring. Do you ever like get worried that no one's going to ask a question, or how do you deal with something like that?
I have about 5 or 6 in the back of my mind that I want to ask personally, but I also run through some of our roster in the back and what would they like to know from someone that they might not ask. But I do some research beforehand and get some ideas of things I'd like to talk about or directions to go. But you know what? The fans at PWA, they never let me down, no matter what it is, whether it's, yelling one fall for every match or getting involved and cheering whenever I ask. They're behind us all the way. So I'm not worried. I'm prepared in case, but sometimes they just need a little guidance. And one thing I like to do is make them feel really comfortable so that you don't have to be nervous to come up to the mic. It's not scary. Just, we're kind of one big happy family of the PWA universe, and I want to make them feel like they can come up without being all nervous around someone who they look up to, a famous superstar. So. Yeah, well, I guess you do a really, really good job in doing that. You know, I was a little nervous about coming into the ring, but you make everybody feel comfortable. So you do a very, very good job in that. Well, thank you. It's nice to hear. I'm glad.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So do you work for any other promotions besides PWA?
I do.
Okay.
There's I've got a couple in the works that I can't really say anything yet, but one big announcement that will be coming soon. But then also MWO, which is Millennials Wrestling Organization out of Port Colborne.
Okay.
We have them, and everything PWA has done. We also have another women's event coming up in Guelph.
Oh yeah.
That's to a women's shelter there, and also with the breweries as well. So it's a women wrestling and beer event.
Okay.
So women only, I'm kind of in the loop on. And then there's a couple of promotions in Hamilton and St. Catharines that I'm kind of flirting with right now.
Okay.
To put it one way.
Okay. I also noticed that PWA, in addition to Ontario, they also run shows out in British Columbia. Do you work for those shows as well, or that's just too far for you to go to?
Well, never say never, but it's too far at the moment.
Okay.
Yes, PWA is kind of Canada-wide in a sense, and the other half of us run out of BC, and they have their own commissioner and their own announcer, and they're growing still. We're a little more established in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, but still PWA and still the same great promotion, just in a different province. So they have people right there helping out and also learning the business too. Like I did not come into this role with the knowledge of how to do it. I certainly grew within it, and there's people out there doing the same. So it's a good chance for them to do exactly what I did, get a chance to start. PWA gave me a chance. I said, hey, if you ever need help, and they just handed me the microphone without any question. And as nervous as I was that very first time, they let me do it so that I could learn it and do better. So doing the same thing with the folks out in BC too, to give them a chance.
All right, so can Josh Alexander, who's a pure violence champion, can he take the title and go to BC and defend it, or is it two different organizations? It's the titles in BC are defended in BC, and the titles in Ontario will just be defended in Ontario.
No, we have some that are both. A year ago we did have a BC title and an Ontario title. Easy E, Eric Kearney destroyed them both.
Oh no!
And the Elite Championship title was born out of the loss of the two. So it just kind of changed the PWA history a little bit, but the titles are definitely transferable through the provinces. The Pure Violence Championship was here for the longest time, and then it was out in BC for a good 2 years before it came back. So it definitely has traveled. Our heavyweight championship title has definitely traveled between the provinces. So it's definitely possible, and it would be great to see. I think everyone would love to see Josh Alexander take the title with him to BC and defend it there. But it's definitely been defended there for years, and makes its way back and forth.
All right. Now, have you always been a pro wrestling fan?
Since I was a teenager, definitely. I mean, kid watched the cartoons, but definitely through my teens and all throughout. I used to watch WWE, of course, and then once I learned there was an independent scene, it just opened up my eyes to a whole other level of wrestling. And now, what a time to be in wrestling. It's everywhere. Wrestling is so popular right now. It's an exciting time for pro wrestling. I'm glad to be part of it.
Yeah, especially in Ontario, in addition, you got so many promotions. In addition to PWA, you got Smash, Destiny, Alpha One, Seaway Valley Wrestling just started up in Cornwall, C4 Wrestling. So wrestling in Ontario is absolutely huge right now. I kind of wish, and I can even just ask you now, and I know you guys run shows out of Guelph and Kitchener, and I'm in Windsor. Any possibility of you running a show out of Windsor? Because there's only one promotion out here. It's Border City Wrestling, and it's one show every 3 months, so it's a little unfair to the wrestling fan out here, in my opinion. But is there any chance that you might run in a different city, or is it always Guelph and Kitchener for PWA? Oh,
no, there's definitely a chance. We travel around as much as we can. We've done tiny, small communities like Lefroy. There's a Varney show that we did last summer, which is a racetrack and involved with a carnival. We've also done Meaford up in Meaford, Ontario for the troops.
Okay.
And that's an exciting thing to be part of as PWA. But we definitely travel around as much as possible, and we do festivals, shows, whatever we can convince people that they need pro wrestling at their event. We'll be there, and a lot of shows and carnivals and things like that. Take a chance and have some wrestling out there, because wrestling's so big, and to be part of any festival is a great idea, and just need more people to take a chance on it. But we definitely will go wherever someone would like us to be, and certainly put the word out.
Okay.
See you never know. Right?
Well, nothing against Border City Wrestling and Scott D'Amore, but please come out to Windsor. We need more wrestling in Windsor. One show every 3 months just isn't cutting it. Not for me anyway. So, but hopefully you could come out here. And I interviewed Sebastian Suave earlier in the week, and I asked him the same question, and he's thinking about possibly he might be able to come out here as well. But I think Scott D'Amore is holding everything up. But
yeah.
But anyway, so back to I asked you if you were a pro wrestling fan. So you said you watched WWE. Who are some of your favorites growing up?
Growing up, my very first favorite was the Blue Blazer.
Oh wow!
And
okay.
I had no idea who he was, but that was my favorite. It was the only one I wanted to see. I remember bugging my brother. So who's he? What's he all about? Tell me what's going on. And I'm pretty sure I drove him crazy those first couple of weeks when I was getting in the swing of watching it. I'm sure he'll remember it more fondly now, but at the time, I know I drove him nuts with questions until I figured out what was going on. But he was my first favorite. Of course, The Undertaker.
Okay.
Rocky Maivia at the time, who eventually became The Rock, absolutely. But I liked, there's so many. And Eddie Guerrero, when he came to WWE, I was totally infatuated. I was like, yes. When he called China Mamacita, I was like, that's awesome. Whole other world.
Yeah, no, I remember Eddie Guerrero. He was definitely one of the greats. The whole program with China was just fantastic. He was just so talented, Eddie Guerrero.
Mm.
Yeah, so what about ring announcers? I know you were a ring announcer. Do you have any favorite ring announcers that you might study to possibly become an even better ring announcer?
Well, first, Lillian Garcia was the ring announcer when I was throughout the most of the time when I was watching, and back then I went to house shows, and when WrestleMania was in Toronto and things like that. So I was at Fan Access and doing all the stuff the fans would do typically way back in the day, and it was Lillian Garcia. It's like I thought she was beautiful, and what I remember about those kinds of shows and which is what I had the hardest time learning to do, was how to host the show. Ring announcing it's the part you see on TV, making his way to the ring, a weight, a place, and then really putting over their name. But there's so much more to it than that. It's the hosting of the show and what to say in between and how to get people involved. And that's the part that I didn't struggle with getting people involved. I struggled with what do I say? How do I put it? How do I welcome people to the show? All those little bits and pieces in between that I remember noticing Lillian Garcia do whenever I went to a house show in Toronto or Hamilton growing up, and then listening to her. I never thought about it at the time necessarily being a ring announcer, but I certainly remember her firing everybody up, her singing the national anthem, just the stuff that she said, the parts that you don't see on TV that stood out to me. So I drew from that when I was struggling with how to host the shows the best. And then, of course, how to work on what I needed to say or what I wanted to say as being a commissioner gave me practice to speak more on the microphone and in the ring and in a different pattern. Instead of just talking about who's coming to the ring, talk about something I was passionate about, which was having great matches, having number one contendership matches, having a great women's wrestling run through the PWA. And so I got to kind of speak passionately about things I was important about. And I remember Lillian Garcia always sticking in my mind about how she put things and how beautiful and elegant, and how I thought she handled herself in the ring, and I definitely took inspiration from that.
All right, all right. Yeah, she's definitely one of the greats. Definitely one of the greats. I remember her well. I've been a pro wrestling fan since 1978, so I've been through a lot of ring announcers, and she's she's definitely one of the best. So are you hoping for a career, say Impact Wrestling, they come around, if Impact Wrestling calls you, is that something you would want to do? Is this, would you want to move up? Well, let me ask you this. What's the ultimate goal for you in, professional wrestling?
That's exactly, you just hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
A year ago, I may not have thought of this, but now, absolutely, that is, if Impact called, I would definitely run. And when they have tryouts, they had one in, I think in Las Vegas recently or something like that. And I was a little bummed I couldn't have possibly coordinated it to make it to that. But keeping my eyes open, and anything goes for the future. If interviewing, announcing, if that opportunity comes up, I will definitely take it.
Well, then maybe it's best that you stay away, that PWA stays away from Windsor for the time being. You don't want to get Scott D'Amore upset, so especially if you want to get to Impact Wrestling. So, maybe in a few years you guys could come out here. I'll still be a wrestling fan, but
okay. Thank you for considering that.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, you want to get to Impact, you don't want to get Scott D'Amore upset. So,
no, I don't. Absolutely.
And I'm sure he won't get upset. So what kind of preparation, prior to the matches, is there a lot of preparation that goes involved in being a ring announcer? Do you need to study? For example, you have the Maritime wrestlers are coming up, Madison Miles, Kobe Christ, and one other, Charlie Winston, I believe his name is. Do you need to study them, and what kind of preparation goes into being a ring announcer?
I definitely look up everybody to see if I can get a little idea of their flavor as a wrestler and what they're all about. But I get prepared ahead of time, but mostly it's before the show when I meet them and speak to them. I just introduce myself to every single one of them that I haven't met before and ask them how they would like to be announced, because I want to know what they want to hear. They need to be just as excited when they come out of the curtain. So I want to know what they want me to say, and if they have a particular way they want me to say it. And I'm open to whatever. So if they want something a little bit off-kill, I'd rather say something more unique than something run-of-the-mill and everyday. It's more interesting for me if I get to say they're from the depths, or one guy told me his weight in M&Ms one day, and I was so excited to announce his weight in M&Ms, because that's fun and different, and sets the tone for their character. So however they want to be perceived and what they want to project, I can help with that. So I just go meet them, talk to them, get an idea for what they want, and just ask them what we want me to say. Usually they're doing their own prep, so I try not to interrupt them too much. Just talk to them for a minute or two. And so most of the prep is done kind of right before the show, because at this point I've, gotten down pat what I need to say. I know how to announce different types of matches, championship matches, explaining the different rules. Should we have we have a Lucha Rules match coming up, number one contendership matches, kind of figured out what I need to say for those sorts of things, so those kind of roll off the tongue a little easier without as much prep anymore. So I spend the prep time finding out about each wrestler so that I can do my little part in making them sound that much cooler and amazing when they come out, or that much sinister, or just help them with their character as much as I can.
Hey, do you have any favorite PWA matches? I know you said you've been with the company for 7 years. Is there a few matches that might stick out in your head that might be your favorite?
The match, the last show, you saw it. They won with, why am I not being able to remember names right now?
Josh Alexander
and El
Reverso. Oh my gosh, that was fantastic. Yeah,
it was unbelievable. As you're watching it, this is amazing. It's history in the making. It's like they are just two unbelievable athletes, and the stuff they were doing in that ring right in front of us was top notch. And the world needs to know about those two. And so I took little clips of every little bit and every little spot. I mean, how much he wrestled for how long in that match with his hands tied behind his back? I mean, That's amazing.
I know, and the moves he was doing with his hands tied behind his back, he was incredible. It was one of the best matches I've ever seen, and just anytime Josh Alexander gets in the ring, he's just it's fantastic, and just the entire both. I mean, even the month before they went 1-on-1 was a great match, but just absolutely fantastic match between the two.
They raised the bar every time, so I'm so glad to have seen that match live and in person and so close.
I'm just upset that that was the end of the feud. That hopefully they'll go 1-on-1 again in the future. But it seems like the feud is over now, and Josh Alexander has won the feud as they've moved on.
It could be, but again, never say never. It'll come back around, and something will come up. But for now, it might be over for a time. But I think fans would want to see those kinds of matches again. So.
Absolutely. Well, I have a few names. Is it okay if I give you a few names of stars of PWA, and maybe you can give me your opinion on them? Is that
sure?
Okay, Lenny Lilac is one of my. I love Lenny Lilac. What's your opinion on Lenny Lilac?
Lenny Lilac and I have quite a history. It goes all the way back to the beginning, the very, very first match I ever announced.
Okay.
In the PWA. He was not impressed with the winner of the match, that it wasn't, and he wanted me to name his guy as the winner. And of course, being the ring announcer, I have absolutely no say, and certainly back then I was no close to being commissioner, so then he wasn't impressed with, I guess he needed to take out his frustration on someone, and he chose me. So we got a sordid history. He actually hit me in the ring, and but I got my revenge on him in a match a month later.
Okay.
So we've got some history, but that being said, we've also got some good history, some bad history. Personally, I think he's a great asset to the PWA. I think he's the best character that we have in the PWA roster. He's the most interesting. He's had the coolest entrances ever in the history of PWA, in my opinion.
Okay.
All the different songs he's used to set the tone for the different stages of where he's at, either with the Lilac family or now with the Temple. It's always quite interesting to watch, and he's certainly one of my most favorite people on the roster, whether I'm agreeing with him or not. He definitely is a mainstay and huge part of PWA. I think he is quintessentially PWA.
Yeah,
and I think the fans would be very if he wasn't part of it. So I'm glad we have him, and don't want to see him continue on. Wrestling is it's hard on the body, and what he does to people in the ring is just like laying that elbow down. That's just devastating, and it's fun to watch.
Oh yeah, a big fan of Lenny Lilac. What about your opinion on his opponent on the last show, Ilian Habanero? What are your thoughts on him?
Ilian. See, I have a good history with Ilian too. I actually assisted Ilian in a match once when I was the commissioner, trying to fight to stay the commissioner against Corey Spade. He had a street fight match, and Corey Spade goaded me into the ring, and I ended up giving him a stunner. So it was quite a fun moment for me. A long feud between him and I ended it with a stunner, and it was helped actually during the street fight match. So helped Ilian Habanero win. I mean, Ilian did all the work, but that stunner was a satisfying moment, and wanted to keep Ilian Habanero in the PWA because he was, if he had lost that particular match, he was going to be forced to quit and leave. So I'm glad to help him have won, and that he's still here. And again, his history in PWA goes all the way back to the beginning. He is PWA right as well. Like, I mean, he loves wrestling. He's the heart.
Yep.
He's the heart of PWA. So one of my most favorite wrestlers on our roster.
Yeah, and I love his entrance. He comes out like a ball of fire. Unfortunately, he got tagged by Lenny Lilac on the last show with a massive clothesline when he's running around the ring. But Habanero is like I said, ball of fire. He just brings the energy, and when he comes out, you're pumped up. You're like, all right, you get excited when he comes out. He does a great job.
So much energy there. Mm-hmm.
What about Joey Allen? Joey Allen.
Joey Allen. He is the product of German engineering.
Okay.
He is a force reckoned with.
Okay.
He's a great wrestler. It's great. You've chosen the core of PWA to ask me about. So again, he's gone through some different, had some different managers throughout his career. He's been part of a couple different tag teams and been very successful at everything that he does in PWA, whether it's defending the heavyweight championship title or being I think he's a 3-time tag team champion.
Okay.
He's championship material for sure, and he's had a lot of great matches, part of some of the best matches we've ever had in PWA, and he's if you have him on Facebook, or you should follow him on Facebook, because he's quite hilarious. He's actually one of the funniest guys. You'd never know, but he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah, no, we do follow I do follow him on Facebook, and I do see the comedy, and yes, it is he can be quite funny. He can be quite funny. I do remember there's a few funny posts that he posted recently, but yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Big Joey Allen fan. Hopefully he could get the title back somehow, either 22nd or 23rd. Last one. Then maybe we'll go into the 2 cards. The Elite's Women's Champion, and I hope I say this right. It's Beautiful Bia, right?
You have said it correctly.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh, the most dearest person on the PWA roster to my heart is Beautiful Bia. When I started to be a ring announcer, women's wrestling was definitely always a part of PWA, but maybe one match here and there. A couple years back, when I was the commissioner, we had 2 entire shows before our main show that were women's shows, where it was entirely women's matches before the show with all of the matches mixed together. So, and Bia is the PWA Elite Women's Champion. Whether she's got the title or not, she kind of holds that spot in the people's hearts. So, she almost doesn't need the title anymore. Everyone in PWA absolutely adores Bia.
Yep.
And she's been there as long as, maybe even longer than I've been there, but I've known her all along. And it's so beautiful to see her grow as a wrestler, as a person. And there is no stopping that girl. She has a bright, beautiful future ahead of her. And I'm so glad to know her and to call her my friend.
Okay.
And I almost have no words. She's such a good human being. You see how when she comes out to the ring with the dancing and the kids.
Oh yeah.
She's so good. All the children, they adore her. I think the entire PWA universe adores her. And she's only on our show on Friday night. We don't have her Saturday night. She's actually booked somewhere else, which is sad. But because a night without Bia, it just doesn't feel right in PWA. But she will be back, and she's defending her title on Friday night as well. So against Madison Miles, very exciting match. And Beautiful Bia, she is the Elite Women's Champion in everyone's hearts for forever. And can't wait to see what the future holds for her. Yeah,
well, you're right. I mean, the last 2 months I've been at the show, fans love her. She comes out, and the fans absolutely love her. And the kids are dancing, and it just you can just feel you can feel the love in the crowd when she comes out. So she's very, very talented as well.
She's. I think you cut out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought I heard some background noise. I thought maybe I might have lost you. But yeah, no. But yes, but she's very, very talented, and it's a shame that I'm not going to get to see her though on the 23rd.
Yes, it doesn't feel, like I said, it feels weird not having her on the show, but she'll be there in spirit, and we'll dance during the intermission for her.
Okay.
Help the kids and keep her spirit alive. But yeah, she's a special, very, very talented woman, and like I said, I'm excited for the future for her.
Okay, now you mentioned Madison Miles and Beautiful Bia. She's defending the title against Madison Miles, as you mentioned. So what can we expect? Madison Miles is very, very talented, but I don't think she's going to take the title on the 22nd. What are your thoughts about that match?
I'm excited to see it. Anytime we've got someone new on the show that can bring a new, interesting level of match to the show, I'm excited to see it, especially in women's wrestling. And I know Bia will meet the challenge for absolutely, but hopefully it'll help Madison Miles too. I'm not familiar with Madison's work all that much, so I'm excited to see her in PWA ring. I've already had some fans reach out to me saying they're excited for that match. Today, actually, I had 3 or 4 people send me they're so excited to see that match and to see Madison Miles in a PWA ring, but also a new challenger for Bia, which is nice for her as well. You know, it's always nice to defend your title against a new challenge, and so I'm excited to see what's going to happen. It's been a little while since we've had a lot like new blood. It's all like it's a lot. There's a whole bunch of new people on the show. It's exciting, very exciting.
Yeah, and that's February 22nd. It's in Guelph. That's at the Red Chevron, I believe. Red Chevron.
Yeah,
Red
Chevron.
So that's, February 22nd. If anyone's listening, February 22nd in Guelph. Madison Miles will be challenging Beautiful Bia for the Elite Women's Championship. And the Elite Championship, actually, we mentioned Ilian Habanero and Joey Allen a little earlier. They're involved in a fatal 4-way. Easy Eric Carney is the champion. And also Addie Starr is involved in that match as well. I would love to see Habanero win that title only because I'm a huge Kobe Christ fan, and I would love to see Kobe Christ get a shot at the title on the 23rd. But do you think that could happen, or I'm going with Easy Eric Carney to win that match?
He's definitely a strong contender to retain his title that night for sure. But I think what a great match, a fatal 4-way with Ilian, Joey, Addie, Eric, again, this is going to be an interesting, entertaining match. I'd love to see Ilian win that belt again, too. I mean, he's not a stranger to holding a championship title, but he's just excited to wrestle. So I know he'll bring the energy one way or the other. I know Joey Allen must want his title back. It's been a little while, and you always want the gold back around your waist. And I'm excited that Addie Starr is making her return to PWA. So that'll be a great main event.
Yeah, I'm almost tempted to call in sick on the 22nd and drive out there for that one. But
I understand.
No, because big Eric Carney fan. That's going to be a great main event. But the match I want to see the most, that would make me call in sick, is the Pure Violence Championship. I'm a huge Kobe Durst fan. Of course, Kobe Durst and PJ Black, challenging Josh Alexander. It was originally just Durst versus Alexander, but, PJ Black was added on, I think about a week ago. But that's gonna be an absolutely crazy, phenomenal match.
Yes, I am so looking forward to that match. I'm just so excited about it. That is talk about a dream match for Kobe Durst and Josh Alexander to potentially get in the ring with PJ Black. That's cool. This is going to be off the charts. I can't wait to be there to see it. I'm going to take as many little clips and video as I can and upload them as the show goes on, because I'm positive you can't miss this match. It's going to be nonstop action.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe Durst and Josh Alexander, they're no strangers to each other, and they've had some phenomenal matches. And to add PJ Black to the mix, my goodness. So I might have to edit out me saying I'm going to call in sick, just so I don't get in trouble. But that's one match that I really wish was on the 23rd. But that's going to be an absolutely phenomenal match. I think Kobe Durst is going to take the title. That's my prediction. I'm a big Kobe Durst fan.
Either way, I think it would be the title would be well served to switch hands. Either way, it's good. It's going to be good.
Yeah, the tag team match, El Reverso and Super Kamikaze, Super K, against Jeff Black and Lenny Lilac. That should be another great one as well.
It's always interesting to see the Temple work, and you never know what's going to happen with the Temple, and against El Reverso and Super K. We've got the high ceilings at the Red Chevron, so these guys are going to be in their element be able to do what they do best. And I don't know that Jeff Black and Lenny Lilac may stand as much of a chance as they think in that situation, because we know what El Reverso is capable of. We know what Super K is capable of. They've got their work cut out for them in that match.
I'd have to go with Black and Lilac only because I'm a huge Lenny Lilac fan. So I'm going to go with my heart there, and I'm going to say Lenny Lilac and Jeff Black are going to win the match. I'm probably wrong, but that's who I'm going with. Tex Lexus will get involved somehow and get the win for his team. Of course, another one of my favorites coming from the Maritimes, Kobe Christ, big Kobe Christ fan, taking on John Atlas. Now, it was originally supposed to be a six man. Christ was originally with the Temple, and I think John Atlas was originally with Reverso and Super K, if I'm not mistaken. It was originally supposed to be a 6-man match.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. But Kobe Christ versus John Atlas 1-on-1. I can't go against Kobe Christ. It's going to be a great one, but Kobe Christ is gonna win that match.
That's your prediction?
Yeah.
I think, and I'm excited for that match. New faces to Guelph. It's going to be great. Again, want to see what's going to happen. And I think the fans' minds are going to be blown no matter what. Guelph is nonstop from the beginning to the end, and I think it's going to be a great show.
Absolutely. And there's 2 other matches. Charlie Winston, also from the Maritimes, apparently he's 6'9", versus Clay Wilson, and Brandon Jacobs against, Andrew Davis. And I believe those are all the matches, unless did I miss any or?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Then the 23rd, which I'm excited about because I'm going to be there in the front row, for that one. First row VIP. And, main event, Joey Allen, who might have the title on the 23rd, taking on Eazy-E Eric Carney. But if Carney has the belt, if he gets disqualified and counted out, he's going to lose the title. So that should be a terrific main event.
Absolutely interesting stipulation. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling that Joey Allen is gonna either on the 22nd or the 23rd he's gonna have that title back around his waist. I think Easy is gonna DQ or get counted out somehow, and Joey Allen is gonna get the title back.
I tend to agree. Yeah, I have a feeling as well. I mean, and that would be a great thing to see. It's been a while, and I think Joey's ready to own that title again.
Okay, yeah. And a few more matches. Lucha Rules match, which should be great. El Reverso versus Super K versus Nolan Pink. Nolan Pink on the last show had a great match with Kobe Durst. So that should be a terrific match as well. Madison Miles is back against Sabrina Kyle. Looking forward to seeing Madison Miles. I've never seen her live. Kobe Christ against Ilian Habanero, which should be a terrific match. I've spoke to Kobe Christ that he's really looking forward to this one. He's really looking forward to going 1-on-1 with Ilian Habanero. What are your thoughts on that one, Kobe Christ and Ilian Habanero?
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, Ilian's energy meets, I don't know if he knows what he's up against, but that's on the show. That's the one I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the number 1 contendership for the Pure Violence Championship, but very much that match with Ilian Habanero and Kobe Christ. Again, I just can't wait to see Kobe Christ in the ring and in action again. And I'm glad we're having him for both shows. So, yeah, that one's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking really looking forward to that one. I've never seen a Kobe Christ match live, and I'm very excited to see my first Kobe Christ match live. So thank you PWA for giving me my first live Kobe Christ match. Really appreciate it, PWA. And you mentioned the number 1 contendership for the Pure Violence Championship, Lenny Lilac versus Brandon Jacobs versus Lance Malibu, who's really cool. I like Lance Malibu versus Warhead. So that should be a good one. I would love to see Lenny Lilac win it, but I just don't see him as the Pure Violence champion. Just
no.
I don't know. I just don't. I see him. I don't know. Pure Violence just doesn't go with it. He's not really Josh Alexander Violence, if that makes any sense.
Understood. Yeah, fair enough. But Lenny Lilac's no stranger to violence rules matches, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, he's been in chairs. They had chairs in the ring in the last show, so he's certainly weapons matches I've seen him in, and he fares well. I think it's good to have things to use against you, but I don't know. Brandon Jacobs, Lance Malibu, Warhead. It's definitely a different flavor for the Pure Violence Championship match for a contendership, because those four have not been in a match together that I can think of at all, like in any way. I've seen those four together, and so it'll be interesting to see how they if there's any people who side with each other, if they try to attack one or the other, or what happens. I don't know what's going to happen in that match. I can't even see what may go down.
Okay.
But I definitely know Lenny Lilac is no stranger to adding some violence to his matches.
Okay, well, he might be the number one contender when all is said and done. Then we have Kobe Durst against Clay Wilson. I'm not familiar with Clay Wilson. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about Clay Wilson.
Clay Wilson's actually from Niagara area, from where I'm from. He's been on several shows in the Port Colborne area and St. Catharines. I've seen him in action several times, and he's only improved and gotten better with time. I think he will be able to hold his own against Kobe Durst, and that'll definitely raise his game on that one, because he's been a student, he's learned, he's done, he's worked his way up through the ropes, and I think that'll be a great match, a good challenge for him. But I know he can hold his own. Clay's a great wrestler, and I'm excited to see that match.
Okay. Well, any match that Kobe Durst is involved in will always be a great match. I don't think I've ever seen a bad Kobe Durst match. And
not at all. Exactly. See, so it's only good for Clay.
Yeah,
and I imagine Clay is very excited about that as well.
Yeah, well, looking forward to seeing that one. Mm-hmm. And then we got the one more match, Charlie Winston against Jeff Black from the Temple, which should be a good one as well. I don't see Jeff Black. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, interesting, right? 6'9", 300 pounds. I imagine Jeff Black isn't worried, but boy, I would be.
Yeah, I would be too. I wouldn't want to stand on the opposite side of the ring from somebody 6'9", 300 pounds.
I'm looking forward to seeing just what he looks like in the ring. Like, that tall? Wow.
Yeah, that's it. So that should be, the whole show should be, fantastic. And you said you're gonna ask Kobe Christ if he wants to do the Q&A, right? I'm gonna hold you to that.
I will certainly ask him. I promise I will ask. I'm going to start sending him a message as soon as we're done.
Yeah, no, I'll send him the message. I'll ask him. But you tell him that Lewis said that he has to do the Q&A. No, don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. But yeah, that's the two shows that should be fantastic, and I know you're going to be back there in March. I'm gonna be a regular. I'm gonna be there every month. I'm gonna be a regular now for PWA. I've really enjoyed myself the last 2 months, and I don't see myself stopping. Even though it's a 3-hour drive for me, and I got to spend the night in a hotel, I don't care. It's
right?
They've been fantastic shows.
Oh, I'm so glad. And you said it right there. Sometimes there's no question, you just do it. And that's how we all feel about wrestling, and we just do it. Oh, it's a 3-hour drive. Well, it was a snowstorm at the end of the last show. Didn't stop us.
Yeah, no. Yeah, nothing. If you're a pro wrestling fan, you want to see a good show, you do what you got to do to get there.
Sure, you do.
Absolutely. So, I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Is there anything you want to plug? I know this is going to be released a few days before the 22nd, because we talked about the two shows, but anything you want to plug that you might have upcoming? Do you want to plug any social media? Just plug away.
Well, sure, it'd be great if people wanted to follow me on Facebook or Instagram. That's Michelle Leith. They can find me through PWA or just through a regular search online. But certainly follow PWA Canada also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I think people should follow you on Twitter.
Oh,
definitely.
Thank you.
Lewis, Tapped Out Lewis.
It's at Tapped Out Lewis. Yep. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think that's very important. And if there's anyone else I could throw a plug out to would be to our amazing photographer, our ringside photographer, Skullmaster. Takes amazing photos of every show. And not only that, he makes every effort to post them so relatively quickly after the end of the show, sometimes staying up all throughout the night to post these photos for the fans. They can see if they missed the show, so they can see what happened. So our amazing photographer, Skullmaster, on Facebook and Instagram, Skullmaster Photography. He's amazing, and I want everyone to follow him so that they can keep up with all of the PWA shows too, because he catches all the action, and it's a great way to stay involved if you can't make it out to the show.
No, and I've seen his pictures. I know he posts them. Usually, posts them right away. Like you said, he takes fantastic pictures. Yeah, I was going through them after the last show, and you're right. He does an absolutely fantastic job.
He does, and he's with us at almost every single show. He's just always there, and he's part of the team, and everyone deserves to know that he's a big part of PWA.
All right, sounds good. Well, again, I just want to say it was an absolute pleasure. We're almost at an hour right now. I know I said about a half an hour, but we got going, and it was an absolute pleasure talking to you. And anytime you want to come back, just send me a message, and you're always welcome. I would love to spend another hour with you talking about PWA.
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right, let's do it, and I'll see you. I'll see you next week. I'll make sure I'll come up, and I don't know if you'll recognize, but I'll introduce myself, and maybe we'll get a picture or something. And
yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
All right, sounds good. Well, again, thank you so much, and hopefully we can do this again real soon.
Absolutely. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Well, this has been the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. Again, I want to thank my guest, the pro PWA ring announcer, Michelle Leith. And until next time, thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. And stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.